Hi guys, EBPMAN here with Tablets for Me, and today we're going to do a impression review of the LG G4. So I was very fortunate to be allowed to have early access to the LG G4 through LG's influencer program, and I've been using the phone now for a week as my primary phone, and I wanted to share with you what my experience has been and what I thought of the phone. So there's been a couple changes on the LG G4 for you to be aware of. First of all, what you'll notice is that the actual phone does have a curve to it, and it's very similar to what you're seeing from LG. They have other phones that have that curve, and it's really to make the phone more form-fitting as it rests against your face. I also have reviewed on the channel other phones that don't have that curvature, and I can say that it's something that's very easy to get used to, and it's something that is comfortable as if you are one of those people that really rest your phone against your face as you make phone calls. The back of the actual phone is comes in a couple styles. I actually have the plastic, or also some people call it the ceramic back. It does come with a leather back. While the leather back is really cool, one of the things that I'm a very strong proponent of is having a screen protector and a case on my phones. So the bag being leather or not, I'm going to cover it up. So it's up to you if you want the leather back and you're really not going to have a case. But since I put my phones in cases, having a leather back isn't really that important to me. LG has really kept the style here of the actual G3 when it comes to the button controls, the same with the G4. So you have your volume rocker here, and then you have your camera as well as your flash. Now, one major change or upgrade to the G4 line is the camera, and that's why I wanted to take a close-up of that. The camera has improved significantly. We're going from a 13 megapixel camera to now a 16 megapixel rear-facing camera. The front of the phone also, if we flip this over, it does have a front-facing camera, and that front-facing camera has also been increased. With the G3, you were looking at a 2.1 megapixel camera, and now what we have here is a 8 megapixel front camera. So really that's going to transform and make those selfies that you take much better, as well as you're doing any kind of video chat, it's going to improve that significantly. The other area where there's been some tremendous improvements, and I can tell you can really feel it when you're using the phone, is around the processor. This phone is fast. The previous version, while it was fast, it had a quad-core processor, and this has a hexa-core processor. So much faster, so you're going to be able to move from screen to screen much faster than you have in the past. So general navigation, like if we go to so you can see some of the apps, it's just snappy. Things just move. There's no lag. It just happens. So really a nice fluid movement from screen to screen. And another area that I'll focus on is the memory. Some of the G4s that are available in the market did not come with more than 2 gig. In some markets you could probably get a 3 gig, but standard onboard memory for processing, the G4 comes with 3 gig, which is great. There's no choice between the memory, so there was a choice previously for either a 16 or 32 gig with the G3. Now with the actual G4, you have 32 gig standard, and then you have a micro SD slot, which is great. It's something that you lost if you were a Samsung user, and this micro SD card slot could support up to 2 terabytes. Now, realizing that the largest SD card right now is like 128, 2 terabytes gives you enough space to grow. Now, one of the things that remained the same on the G3 as it was upgraded to the G4 is the battery. Both phones have a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, but I feel that both the operating system, the software, and this implementation, the feeling to me has been that I've had better life and better performance, despite the fact them both having a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. Just like the G3, the G4 also has a speaker in the same area, has it right here in the back. So that provides some consistency, especially if you're upgrading from a G3. Now, from a connectivity perspective, there have been some changes. First of all, this phone does support NFC, which is what you see where most folks like tapping the phone to share pictures, or for mobile payments where you can just tap your phone and use it to pay or to purchase things. But also the changes have also taken place in the I would say the wireless side, and I've really noticed that as I was using the phone on my home network. You're seeing that now the supported standards support A, B, G, N, and AC, which is one of the more newer standards available today on the market. So there's an improvement in that side as well. Now, if we compare the G3 to the G4, we talked about the actual curvature, and I just wanted to show you side by side what the two phones look like. So here I have my G3, here I have my G4. From a thickness perspective, there are changes, but it's not really that perceptible. So as you start looking at them side by side, it's really kind of hard to determine if there's any change there. Now, one thing that is very perceptible, or a thing that you can notice, is that the actual G4 is a little bit taller. It's just a slightly taller than the G3, and if you look at it this way, you'll notice that they're pretty much the same when it comes to the micro USB charging port. And if I were to flip this over like this would make it easier to see. You have your micro USB charging in the same place, pinhole mic, headphone jack. If you go here, you'll notice that you have again, no buttons or anything on the sides there. Top, you have your pinhole mic, and then you have your IR blaster, so you can use your phone as a remote. And on the sides, there's really nothing else that has changed. So all in all, the big difference you're going to find is the processor itself, how fast it is. You're going to find that the camera shoots phenomenal pictures. And the other thing to really highlight is the screen. So let's take a look at the screen. Now, taking a look at the screen, if you were to just look at the specs themselves, both screens are still measuring 5.5 inches, which is great for a phone that's this size. From a resolution perspective, for those of you that are really interested in the resolution, you're looking at 2,560 by 1,440, and they're pretty comparable. It's the same. Now, even though the screen resolution and the size are the same, don't be fooled, because for me, I believe that there is a major improvement going on with the actual G4. From a pixel perspective, the G3 was 534 pixels, and then for the G4, the pixel count went up slightly, up to 538. But really, you have to see the screens to be able to see the difference. So let's go ahead and turn both of these on. And right outside, you'll notice that, and this is something that we saw with the G3, was the fact that the actual screen looked washed. Sometimes the colors weren't as vibrant. They didn't really pop. So you can see these are the exact same graphics. This is actually the wallpaper from the G4 on the G3. And what you see is the actual screen itself. If we look at the actual resolution of the screen, it's just the colors are washed. So if we go back here, let me try to keep these both on at the same time, you'll notice how red and sharp the colors are. Now, both of these phones are at full brightness. Both of these phones are set up where I don't have the auto dimming set up outside of the fact that the phones continue to turn off. But really, the screen resolution and the quality, there's a perceptible change, even though the actual specs haven't. So this is a next generation screen for sure. And the other area for improvement with the G4 has been the actual camera. So the camera application is very fast. Let me get out of it so you can see how fast it is. When you select it, it's just there, which is great because when you're taking pictures, you really want a camera that's going to be ready for that moment. So it is fast, very fast. It also supports, and if we were just to show the camera, just some of the features there for the camera. Excuse my hand in the background. You have a couple modes here. So you have your standard auto mode is for the person who just wants to be able to do a point and shoot. You have your panorama view, so if you want to get those wide views, and then you have the dual mode, which allows you to be in the picture if you're the person like me who's always taking pictures, but you're never in the picture. So there's a lot of different functions and different shapes that you can see there. Another area that is available is the feature HDR. So you can actually use the HDR feature. I have it on. I tend to prefer seeing it. It makes just things pop out a little bit more. And then from a resolution perspective, you'll notice that you have various settings that you can control to determine, what's the highest resolution you want for your pictures. You also then have slow-mo for video recording. So, you have Ultra HD, Fine HD, and HD. So the quality of the camera, what you're going to see is going to be outstanding. Now, one thing that has changed, and you're starting to see this a lot in the cameras, is you're starting to see the ability to have manual control. And these are features that you would see in standard phone cameras, right? The DSLRs, where you can actually do all the finicking and adjusting either with the ISO, the aperture. There's all these things that you can modify with the brightness. So this is really for someone who is more of a professional camera user, or even those, if you're a consumer that just likes to, tweak things and look at things a little bit differently, you could play with this as well. Let me show you a couple pictures so that you can see what I'm talking about. So this photo is just illustrating just the overall quality that you can get with the actual camera. So you can see here a lot of detail as far as this coffee cup. And if I move over, there's some special effects that you can get as well. So what you're seeing here is I would say a blurred background, but the coffee cup is within focus. Again, high quality look and feel to the actual picture that you're taking. Here's some other pictures that I took with the G4. So you can see this is in a natural wooded area. So you can see kind of some of the greens and how things pop out. A wooded path that I have some photos of. And then this is another nice, again, nothing special, no special software, but you can see how I have these flowers in focus, but then there's this nice blur effect that's going on. So you can see these are in focus, and then this one is blurred as well as the background that you see there. Here's another nice photo that really pops. Again, this is at full resolution. You can see how smooth those transitions are. So if you're really looking for something and you really like the LG line and you're looking for an improvement on your camera, it's definitely the way to go. So the last thing I want to talk about is the actual phone. We've been talking about the camera, we've been talking about specs, but we haven't spent any time talking about the phone. So how good is it as a phone? I have to say it's fantastic. So LG has really done a nice job overall balancing performance, call quality, web navigation. It's been great, the experience that I've had over the last week. And really, if you're considering an upgrade to your G3, this is a worthy adversary. It's a good phone. It's a good upgrade. If you're coming from, let's say, the Samsung line, and you're really mixed about the fact that you don't have an SD card for a micro SD card for expansion, this is a good phone to consider because it does support that. So all in all, I really like this phone. If you have any comments or questions about the phone, I'll leave it on the YouTube channel. I do have a series of tips and tricks on how to use the phone if you're new to LG or if you just want a refresher. And also I have several accessories that are coming in that are for the LG G4. So just subscribe to the channel and check that out. So want to thank LG for making this product available to us early before the US release. And I also want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, once again, leave it on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again.